जय जय श्री राधा गोपीनाथ की जय। जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So today we are reading from Canto 4. Chapter number 4, entitled Sati Quits Her Body. Text number 20. Karma pravrittam cha nivrittam apiritam vede vivicho bhayalingam ashritam virodhi tad tadyo gapadyo kakartari tvayam tatha brahmani karma narchati. Karma pravrittam cha nivrittam apiritam. Karma pravrittam cha nivrittam apiritam. Vede vivicho bhayalingam ashritam. Vede vivicho bhayalingam ashritam. Virodhi tadyo gapadyaika kartari. Virodhi tadyo gapadyaika kartari. Dvayam tatha brahmani karma narchati. Dvayam tatha brahmani karma narchati. Karma pravrittam cha nivrittam apiritam. Vede vivicho bhayalingam ashritam. Virodhi tadyo gapadyaika kartari. Dvayam tatha brahmani karma narchati. Karma pravrittam cha nivrittam apiritam. Vede vivicho bhayalingam ashritam. Virodhi tadyo gapadyaika kartari. द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तम् अपीरितम् वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्गमाश्रितम् वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्ग द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तम् अपीरितम् वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्गमाश्रितम् विरोधितत्योगपद्यैककर्तरि द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तम् वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्गमाश्रितम् विरोधितत्योगपद्यैककर्तरि द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तम् अपीरितम् वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्गमाश्रितम् विरोधितत्योगपद्यैककर्तरि द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तम् अपीरितम् वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्गमाश्रितम् विरोधितत्योगपदैककर्तरि द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तम् अपीरितम् वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्गमाश्रितम् विरोधितत्योगपद्यैककर्तरि द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति What? Sorry, please. कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तम् अपीरितम् वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्गमाश्रितम् विरोधितत्योगपद्यैककर्तरि द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति Word-to-word translation. Karma, activities. Pravrittam, attached to material enjoyment. Cha, and. Nivrittam, materially detached. Api, certainly. Ritam, true. Vede, in the Vedas. Vivichya, distinguished, ubhayalingam, symptoms of both, ashritam, directed, virodhi, contradictory, tat, that, yogapada ekakartari, both activities in one person, dvayam, two, tatha, so, brahmani, in one who is transcendentally situated, karma, activities, na rachati, are neglected. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. In the Vedas, repeat after me. In the Vedas, there are directions for two kinds of activities. Activities for those who are attached to material enjoyment, and activities for those who are materially detached. In consideration of these two kinds of activities, there are two kinds of people who have different symptoms. If one wants to see two kinds of activities in one person, that is contradictory. But both kinds of activities may be neglected by a person who is transcendentally situated. Purport. The Vedic activities are so designed that the conditioned soul who has come to enjoy the material world may do so under direction, so that at the end he becomes detached from such material enjoyment and is eligible to enter into the transcendental position. The four different social orders, brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa, gradually trains a person to come to the platform of transcendental life. The activities and the dress of a grihastha or householders are different from those of a sannyasi. One is the renounced order of life. It is impossible for one person to adopt both orders. A sannyasi cannot act like a householder, nor can a householder act like a sannyasi. But above these two kinds of persons, one who engages in material activities and one who has renounced material activities, there is the person who is transcendental to both. Lord Shiva is in the transcendental position because, as stated before, he is always absorbed in the thought of the Lord Vasudeva within himself. Therefore, neither the activities of the grihastha nor those of the sannyasi in the renounced order can be applicable for him. He is in the Paramahamsa stage, the highest perfectional stage of life. The transcendental position of Lord Shiva is also explained in Bhagavad Gita 2.52 and 53. It is stated there that when one fully engages in the transcendental service of the Lord by performing activities without fruitive results, one is elevated to the transcendental position. At that time, he has no obligation to follow the Vedic injunctions or the different rules and regulations of the Vedas. When one is above the direction of the Vedic ritualistic injunctions for attaining different allurement and is fully absorbed in the transcendental thought, which means thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service, one is in the position called Buddhi Yoga or Samadhi, ecstasy. For a person who has attained this stage, neither the Vedic activities for realizing material enjoyment nor those for renunciation are applicable. Before we start Bhagavatam, let's do the Mangalacharya prayer together. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप गदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी परमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामैव केवलं कलौ नास्त्यैव 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 गतिरन्यथा। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to Sunday morning program at North Sydney Temple. Thank you very much for coming in the Sunday mornings to the North Sydney Temple. I seek blessing from all the Vaishnavas present here, listening from different devices, different medias, Facebook, YouTube, Mayapur TV, that may the right word and the right context with the right consciousness comes out of my mouth for the pleasure of Radha Gopinath and their devotees here present. Hare Krishna. So, the chapter 4 is the fourth order, and the text, canto 4 is the fourth order, and the chapter 4 is Sati quits her body. And this particular text is actually being spoken by Sati in the arena of her father's big yagya. So her father is, who is her father? Daksha. So Daksha has actually his king. So King Daksha has actually arranged a very big yagya. And this is the second yagya. So in the previous text we have seen how in the first yagya, the sacrifice, Daksha has actually offended Lord Shiva. And we saw there was curses, counter curses, and it's typical like a children's fight. It has happened in that arena. And Shiva already knew that this place is not fit for him. So he left that time. And now this time, this is the second time yagya happening, arranged by Daksha Maharaj. And again, he's not going, but his wife, the entire chapter 4 till 20, wife Sati is actually convincing her husband that I want to go. Various reasons. These are the reasons I want to go. And Lord Shiva has finally said, if that's what you want. I mean, there was a big conversation between them. He explained and she wanted to convince him. And finally, she went to her father's place. And when she went to her father's place, she sees there was, so generally in a big yagya, so yagya happens like good miles of places. It takes miles and kilometers of areas. And there's places, seats like how we are sitting, asan, for each and every delegate. But when she went there, she did see there was a seat, a separate seat made for her husband, Lord Shiva. And then she realized that it's really, my husband was right. Though he is my father, though I have come to see my family, but this is so unacceptable that she cannot see a place for her husband. And it's not on a platform of her husband. She's not expecting anything because Lord Shiva is her husband. She's expecting because Lord Shiva is the primeval Lord of the material energy. He's beyond the Jivas, Jiva Tattva. And she's thinking that he should have a position in this sacrifice, and he hasn't. So she's getting angry, and with her anger, she's talking to her father. So this particular text is actually she telling to her father what kind of people behave in such a way. So there are two kinds of people, pravritti and nivritti. And this is basically topics of Vedic literature. So she's telling her father there are two kinds of people who are in the marg of pravritti and who are in the marg of nivritti. Pravritti means people who are attached with material enjoyment, who are attached with sense gratification, who are still under the platform of bodily concept. And nivritti is a platform where a person has gone beyond that bodily platform. If Mataji needs a chair, can you arrange a chair, Prabhu? There is a chair also, you don't have to sit down. It's okay? Okay. And there's some room here as well if the girls want to come here. No, that's okay. Everyone is welcome, so no disturbance. So nivritti is a platform where someone has detached from material enjoyment. Someone has gone beyond that bodily concept. Where Srila Prabhupada says, you're not the body, you're the soul. This is a very common text, but it has got a very deep meaning to understand. That we are not the body. We are doing everything for this body. We are gratifying this body. We are beautifying this body. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, we are not the body. We are a soul. Where's the soul? I can't see the soul, so I don't believe it's soul. So things like that, people, what they see, they want to perceive it. But Bhagavatam, Vedic literatures are beyond our perseverance, beyond our understanding. And that's why it's very rare people who would come and sit in these classes. You all are very great souls. You all are very realized souls that you have made a point to come to Bhagavatam classes and sit here morning time at 8:30. People are generally in their bed. So bed is like intoxication, and the sleep is like the toxicant, and the alarm clock is like a police. So you guys have failed all of these and you have come here. So great Vaishnavas. So very rare soul understands this aspect of life, which is in the Vedas, which is in scriptures. And that's why it is hard for people to take the simple instructions and apply it. And they fall into the pravritti marg. But again, not to fear. Pravritti marg and nivritti marg is basically together going to take us, if we follow properly the regulative principle and enjoy the material life, eventually, not very soon, but eventually we'll come up to the platform of nivritti. So both are the forms which will take us to the higher platform, to understand us in the higher platform. So there's nothing hard feelings that pravritti is bad or nivritti is good. Whatever platform we are in, if we follow it regulatively, if we follow it in a discipline, we'll surely make our way through. Slowly, gradually, but we will go there. But beyond these two, pravritti and nivritti, there is another path, which in this text and the purport I have just spoken about. Can anybody tell what is that? Sorry? Brahmani. You're talking Vedic language. Yes, Prabhu. But I was just looking for a simple word. It's not in the text. Great, nobody's answering. That makes sense that I'm sitting here and I'm giving class. If you're answering it, then there was no point. You are already Brahman people. So good. Okay, so the point what I was trying to make is pravritti and nivritti are two paths, two forms, two stages of life. But in the text, both kinds of activities may be neglected Now, these are prescribed duties in the Shastras. If someone is attached to the worldly matter, someone is attached to their body, that's fine. No hard feelings. Just continue and follow it. And someone is not, that's also fine. You're already elevated. But Sati Devi is saying these two these two form of activities can be neglected by a person who is transcendentally situated. That's what Prabhu said, Brahmani, who is transcendentally situated, and that's called bhakti. Bhakti is beyond these two platforms. If someone is in the form, if someone is already following his self realization, he's already into the self realization mode, and he's already, as one of us, like grahastas, going out, working on corporate worlds, earning money, but he knows how he should spend his money, he's already in the platform beyond these two, pravritti and nivritti. It's very hard to see a person through his bodily, platform, how he's dressed, how he's talking, what he's doing. It's very hard to judge. That's why Srila Prabhupada always says we should not judge someone outernally, like dhoti, sari, tilak. Yeah, these are good. These are regulative principles. We should follow it. But we should not think that because they are wearing those things, because they are having those things, they are already elevated souls. Or because someone who is not wearing those things, he is not an elevated soul. So that's what Prabhupada is trying to make a point here. We should not judge. It's between the soul and the Lord. We are nowhere in the between to talk about it. What we should see, the point or the way the sannyasi or the elevated soul is behaving. So what is sannyasi? Sannyasi is not the word, it's not the delegation given to someone. Obviously there is an order of grahasthashram and order of life, order of our social orders. But sannyasi is a person who talks, who walks, and through those two things he preaches. So not only sitting on Vyasasan and he's preaching, he's also preaching through his words, his behavior, how he deals with the material energy, how he deals with people in general. Nowadays, in ISKCON, we have sannyasis who are in the management team. We have sannyasis who are dealing with ladies, but for preaching, and only and sole purpose for preaching. So that is a quality of sannyasi which we in brahmacharitva, in vanaprastha or in grahasthashram we can follow. How? By following the regulative principles. By not attaching ourselves too much into this sense gratification, this worldly matter. Someone has, insulted me, he didn't respected me, he shouldn't have said these words to me, oh, she was very bad with me. These are all bodily concept. The pains and happiness, they come and go. Matra sparshastu konteya shitoshna sukha dukkhaya. So it's like the temperature goes on and off. Someday it's hot, someday it's cold. Similarly, the activities in the material world is like that. This material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Even if you are doing very well, even if you are making sure you are not going to harm anyone, you are not offending anyone, all the aparaj, you are taking care of it, but pain will come some other way. It will come to you. And through your loved ones only. Sorry to say. It comes through the loved ones only. From whom you expect love and respect, from there you get these pains. And remember, every time we get the pain, it's kind of a knocking on us, on our chetana, on our consciousness, that hey, this world is not for you. If you really want to go, get out of this platform. He, she, me, mine. He is disrespecting me. She's not talking nicely to me. Oh, I was not supposed to do this, but I did it and she, offended me. Things like that. It happens. Because we are in this world. It is deemed to happen. So going beyond all these material attachments and then coming to a platform that, fine, I have to do my duty, nivritti, But beyond that, I have to do my duty for the pleasure of the Lord. If someone is disrespecting me, if someone has not spoken nice words to me, that's fine. Lord, what is there for me to learn? If we ask that question all the time, that's what we are in the nivritti stage, and beyond that nivritti stage, we are in a bhakti stage. We all are learning. We all are learning. We don't have to be on that perfect platform. But when we make a mistake, when we understand that, and when we rectify ourselves, that's what a bhakta's duty is. That's what we do in bhakti, because no one is perfect other than Lord Krishna. Everyone in scriptures we have seen made mistakes and they have fallen down, and how Lord has lifted them up, giving us a lesson to learn. So Daksha in this chapter, basically before chapter, he has not kept any oblation for, or he has not kept any place for Lord Shiva. He has already made one offend. Now, who is Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is a great exalted personality. So we all are Jiva Tattva. Even Brahma, who is the creator of the entire Jivas, he is also falling under the Jiva Tattva. But Shiva is beyond that. He is in a Shiva Tattva. He is also a Vaishnava when he is beyond this material realm. But we are talking about between this material realm. So he is in a Rudra Tattva, Shiva Tattva. And he is that great personality who had given so many scriptures, so many songs, so many glorifications of Lord Vishnu, of Krishna. He has given Prachetas, the 100 sons of Prachin. So what? Prachin? Yeah, I can't pronounce that. Prachinavarish. Yeah, so he is the 100 sons of Prachetas. They are the 100 sons of a king. And king has ordered his 100 sons, go and take path and do meditation. So meditation is not like an hour. It's like thousands and thousands of years. So after those thousands and thousands of years of meditation, Lord Shiva was actually happy with them. And then he gave them a song to glorify Lord Vishnu. He's that exalted personality. That instructions also was given by Yamaraj to his Yamadutas. So Yamaraj is saying that there are 12 Mahajanas. There are 12 prominent personalities of religion. And among those 12 personalities, Shambhu, Shiva is one. So he is that great personality. If anyone else would know, Daksha would definitely know what a position Lord Shiva is holding. And knowing the fact he is made an offend. Why? Because of envy. He envies Lord Shiva so much that he has offended. We have to be very careful of these offenses. How many offenses are there? Can anyone name it, please? So in Bhakti Marg, there are offenses we have to make sure. We have to be very careful. So when we are in contact with a guru, spiritual master, he gives us the seed of bhakti. We put that seed in the soil. Soil is a heart. And we nourish it with water. Water is our practice, devotional service. And the bhakti lata bij sprouts. It grows up. But as you see, when you plant something, when you plant that main plant, there are other creepers, there are other weeds which are not necessary, they creep on. That is anartha, that is our pride, our anger, our ego, our envy. So, again, a question to you all. What are the 4 great offenses we should not commit? And we should be very careful of those 4 offenses. Number 1, Nama Aparad. Yes. When we chant, there are 10 commandments. Every morning we chant together about Nama Aparad. How we should chant. It's all written there. Second, Vaishnava Aparad. So now, are we going to weigh who is Vaishnava, who is not? Vaishnava aparad is very, very toxicating. It is deviating, it falls down. Again, Nama aparad too. Third, Seva aparad, devotional service, yes. Fourth, Nama aparad, Dham aparad. Then we go on and on and on. Yeah, there are lots of aparad, but what 4 points I wanted to make from all what you have said is, first, Nama aparad. Second is Vaishnava aparad. Third is other living entity aparad, because we won't weigh anyone who is Vaishnava, who is not. Anybody can Vaishnava in a form of any clothing, any gender, any form. And the fourth one, what I was talking about, I wanted to talk about was aparad to the form of the Lord, the deities, people who take, it's just a statue, it's just a wood, it's just a stone. That is an aparad. So when we will not do those aparad, but when we hear those aparad, there are again Mother Sati, through her example, she is telling us, when we listen to any aparad, when we listen to anyone's disrespect, there are two things we should do. Either we should close our ears, leave the place, or we should stop that person through words, through actions, whatever dignity, whatever platform we are in. So the aparad to other entities is like examples from Jad Bharat Maharaj. So he was Bharat Maharaj who was attached to a deer. After his death, in his next life, he became deer. Then after the deer's life, end of that deer's life, he became Jada Bharat. Jada means mental, who is mentally sick or who is mentally dumb. And Bharat was his name, so Jad Bharat, that's how his name became Jad Bharat. And basically he acted as a dumb because he remembered his life, his previous 2 lives, and he remembered that all the mistakes he did is by speaking. So he's not going to speak and he's going to be dumb. That dumb is Jad Bharat. And what he showed through his example is he kept quiet throughout his life, and when the king's men were going, they just voluntarily picked him up and they asked him to do the service of holding the palanquin, what's the Hindi word? Palki. And then while he was walking, he was actually making sure he is not stepping on any ants, because he could see ants going across. So he was going like jumping and hopping. And if a holder of the palanquin is jumping and hopping, what happens to the person inside? He's also having a good ride. So he gets angry and he says, "Stop the palanquin right now. I'm going to cut your head off. I'm going to beat you." And he started throwing all the angry words on him. And all of a sudden, for the first time, Jad Bharat talks. He says, "Whom are you going to kill? Whom are you going to hurt? If you think it's the body, it's not the body, it's the soul." So basically what I'm trying to say is here that we have this responsibility towards not making offenses towards other living entities as well. For that reason, cockroach, ant, spider, lizards come. So we don't know whether they are Vaishnavas or not. So we have to be really, really careful. And so when Daksha Maharaj, who falls under that pravritti marga, who falls under that bodily conception, when he made that ghastly mistake of offending Lord Shiva, great Vaishnava, so that's where Mother Sati is speaking that you are one of them. And then further on, how the whole chapter is talking about Sati quits her body. How she quits, that's her decision, how she made the decision and does that action. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that we have to be really careful of these aparadhas, this envious nature. There was a story in Chaitanya Charitamrita about Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had his son-in-law who was very envious. So not every day, but every time when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya used to get an opportunity to invite Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home for food, for lunch or prasadam, he used to make sure that he's standing right in the doorstep with a long big stick to make sure that his son-in-law, who is Amogha, he doesn't come in. Because it's natural, he will come in, he will see what he is eating, he will talk on it, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife was a stalwart cook. She used to cook very well, and she used to cook like lots of items in 1 hour. I'm just thinking in 1 hour what I could do. Not much. But she used to cook 50 to 60 items in 1 hour. So she used to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in sannyasa ashram, and sannyasis should not be eating so much. But for the pleasure of his devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to take that invite and used to go to his place. And here Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya would, secure the place, making sure that no envious person enters. And there was one day he entered and he said the words which he shouldn't have said, that you're a sannyasi, you're eating so much, what kind of example you're putting to the world, and all those things. The point what I'm trying to say is, at the end of his life, when he was towards the end of his life, which was not the age, he was very young, but he fell sick and he was on his deathbed. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he just touched his heart. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched Amogha's heart and he said, till you have that envy sitting in that place of your heart, Krishna will never come. And by saying that, this is the mercy actually. Not everyone gets that mercy. Sometimes I feel, please don't take my words, the offenses towards great exalted personality is also a blessing. So when he was making that offense, we should not do that offense. Please don't take my words. We should not make any offense, but he had made that offense to a great personality. What great personality? He's a God himself. And when God wants to give blessing, it can come in any form. So as soon as he kept his hand on his chest, he got all well and he jumped out of the dead bed and he holded on to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's legs and he said, I ask for forgiveness. I have really been very nastily bad. Please forgive me. What do you think? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will forgive. That's the reason. That's why he put his hand on it. So very rare soul gets the chance to have that mercy even through envious nature. The time is clicking. I want to quickly make another small story about this envious nature or any grudges in our heart which we make. It can be in a form of action, words. So action and word we all can see. But there's one thing which we can't see is our mind, what's going on in our mind. Hare Krishna, very nice. Inside we are, cursing that person. So who knows it? He knows that everything. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Is it really Hare Krishna or is it really Hare Krishna? So he knows what's going on inside our heart, and accordingly he blesses, accordingly he reciprocates with us. So there was a story with Mother Sachi. So who is Mother Sachi? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother. So Mother Sachi, the great exalted devotee who has given birth to the Lord, she made an offense by just thinking adversely and wrongly about Advaita Acharya. Thank you. Yeah, and she thought that her first son, the elder one, he has already taken sannyas, and she has only got one son left, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's a dear son to her, and Advaita Acharya has taken him. She thinks like that. Nothing further. She just thought like that because of him I have lost my son, because my son has gone to sannyasa. So one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting in a sabha, in an assembly of Vaishnavas, and he was showing different forms. the Dashavatar form for that sake, just for our understanding. He was showing different forms of the Lord to the all bhaktas who are sitting. And his mother came to know, and his mother said, I also want to see that form. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I don't want my mother to come in this assembly. So she felt bad. She said, what did I do? Then as a son, he said, you made an offense. You made an offense in your heart. Please rectify it. She understands that what offense she has made. She goes and she asks for forgiveness. Now again, Advaita Acharya was an exalted devotee. When he saw Mother of Lord is coming to me for asking, he felt bad. He said, please don't do that. You can do anything, but please don't ask for forgiveness. I have forgiven you. I have forgiven you. I cannot even think that I can not forgive you. Please, please, please. She could understand that this is not working. She said, okay, she left. But as soon as Advaita Acharya turned back and he walked, she came quickly and she touched the particles, the dust of Advaita Acharya's walking, and she quickly puts in her head and she leaves. Now this is an action done not for people to see. This is an action done to purify her heart. So Lord knew this, Lord saw this. He is Divya. He saw it and he said, Mother, now you are purified and now you can come. So there's a learning for us. If we are not perfect, but if unknowingly we make any offense to any Vaishnava, this is how we should do. In time, place, circumstances, we should make the utmost effort to ask for forgiveness. Word, action, important for that person to understand, because we are in a material platform, we cannot understand. Telepathy doesn't work all the time. It has to be through words, and ask for forgiveness. So this text totally is talking about a daughter who is very upset with her father, and she is not happy. She is people like us, we would be crying. So she is also making that effort through words for people like us to understand how we should behave in such adversities of our life. So I would like to end my class here. It's an open platform to you all. If anyone wants to add, share, please, you have got 5 minutes. Okay? Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. So the question is, why should I actually follow the process of nivritti, right? And if I am in a platform of pravritti, which is material attachment, what should I do? So once a great Vaishnava said that these two are actually going to take you to the platform of bhakti. So bhakti is our ultimate platform. In ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada has taught us that among all these regulative and non-regulative, whatever life you are dealing, try to come to the platform of bhakti. So if anyone is not able to detach, or if anyone is too much engrossed and bewildered with all these, platforms, designations, it's okay. Because that's the soul which is coming from different past lives. It's very hard to curb the soul and follow the nivritti marg. So what our Shastras are saying, pravritti and nivritti both are okay as long as you are following it in a prescribed manner. So what are the prescriptions given for a person who is pravritti marg? That is karma yoga. That's in Bhagavad Gita. We have seen that whatever you do, do it. Okay, you like to dance, okay, dance for the Lord. You like to sing, sing for the Lord. So you don't have to stop dancing, you don't have to stop singing. You like to eat? Okay, make prasadam, offer it to the Lord and then eat. Whatever you do it in a form of offering to the Lord. So that pravritti, that that behavior of attachment, that my brother, my wife, my children, that's fine, you keep it. But also, you have to remember that there are some regulations, there are some discipline you need to follow. Because it is very hard to say a dead stop to that sense enjoyments. Because, bhogeshwarya prasaktanam taya aparita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhauna vidhiyate. So, the bhog, we can vishaya vinivartante, the vishay bhog, we can stop, we can say, okay, we don't want to eat too much, we don't want to sing, we don't want to dance, we don't want to do this, because these are all taking us to wrong. But then there is the vishaya bhog, the vishay bhog, the main element of enjoyment is still there. So what Srila Prabhupada is saying, don't try to stop it, but curb it. And that curbing is called nivritti. When you curb it and you're stalwart and you're experienced in curbing that, that is where you come to the nivritti marg, and that is where you understand, oh no, I'm not doing it for my body, I'm actually doing it for Lord. So it is hard, Prabhu. Your question is very valid for today's world. I know it's all there in the books, but it's very difficult to follow. So we cannot stop our desires. It will come, it will come. But we can do one thing, we can curb our desires for the benefit of Lord. And then slowly we'll understand what Lord wants us to do. But it would be too hard, it would be like beating ourselves if we want to be in the platform of Nivritti Marg at the moment. And that's why Srila Prabhupada has made this process very simple. Forget about Nivritti, Pravritti, just follow for the pleasure of the Lord. Whatever you do, do it for the Lord. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah. So Prabhuji's question is, if it is contradictory that a grahastha cannot act as a sannyasi and a sannyasi cannot act as a grahastha, if it is a contradictory, Prabhu, if it is a contradictory, how come it is? Why he is making the point that one should be in that contradictory situation, right? That's what you're trying to say. Now, why Srila Prabhupada is saying grahasthas to live in a sannyasa way of life? Because what in this last line of translation Mother Sati is saying, but both kinds of activities may be neglected. So it is contradictory, but that can be possible for a person who is transcendentally situated. That's what I said, Prabhu, in just before, that a sannyasi in our ISKCON, we see a sannyasi is also dealing with a woman. I mean, talking to a woman, preaching a woman. That's only for preaching purpose. But as per the Vedas, as per the strict rules and regulation of Vedas, a sannyasi is not supposed to mingle with the outside world. A sannyasi is a sannyasi who is surrounded by brahmacharis and the deity. That's it. But in today's world, it is not possible. And that's why Srila Prabhupada has made this very rigid way of understanding Vedas. Sometimes are very flowery, very good, and in some instances are very rigid, very hard to follow. So Srila Prabhupada has made this platform very simple for any person. That's why in India we have this break of this knowledge. So there are some part of some social order has taken prominence on the other social order, and they have actually manipulated, taken advantage, because they have very little knowledge about it. So being a brahmachari or being a sannyasi, Prabhupada is not making this point that he has to be in a grahastha way of dealing. What he is saying, that it is not possible for the time, place, circumstances in today's world that a sannyasi remains a sannyasi. What happens to the grahasthas? How will they get understanding? How will they get the knowledge if the sannyasi is mute, he is not talking? If a sannyasi is only talking the brahmacharis, how will a lady will understand? Not all the brahmacharis have their mothers. Not all the brahmacharis have their sisters close to them who are taking the knowledge from brahmacharis. So there is a block. Only the boys will be learning. What about the women? Women are the first teacher of the child. Women needs to understand that. And that's where when the sannyasi is speaking, it is making it easily from YouTube, Mayapur TV, it's making it easily approachable by ladies, men, any like class of people. So that's where Prabhupada is making a hard line of any social order. Social orders are made by Lord himself, but for a regulative, smooth moving of the society. Not for discrimination, not for making judgments. So a grahastha like me, I should also follow a sannyasa life. What is sannyasa life? That there is a regulation. There are certain regulation in grahastha life. The prominent one is the sex life. If someone wants to have sex, they get into the form of marriage. You love to have sex, then get married. That's the very first step of grahastha ashram. And when you get into that, again there is a regulation. There's a regulation for having sex life as well, even when you are a grahastha. So that following that discipline is actually sannyasa. It's not the word sannyas. It's not the behavior of sannyas. It's not the dress of the sannyas. It's the mentality what we take. So even in grahastha ashram, we are following sannyasa if we are following those regulative principles. That's all. And a grahastha's foremost duty is to make sure that children are Krishna consciousness. That doesn't mean that we force our children. That means we make our children follow us through our examples. We cannot force anyone. We can only give them examples through our own behavior. They follow us. Consciously, subconsciously, they follow us because we are their first guru. So that is the first primeval duty of a grahastha. And if that person is doing, he is in a sannyasa. That's what I understood, Prabhu. Have I made it clear? Yeah? Hare Krishna. Okay. श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, सर्व भक्त वृंद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gaurang, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev ki jai.